Welcome to Extra Butter. It's the most controversial movie no one has seen. If you are, insert political affiliation here, you're gonna be offended or you're gonna love it. Vin Diesel is back in a movie. Coincidentally, he's both fast and furious in Bloodshot. And trust me, after those two movies, you're going to need something pure, something inspirational. I still believe is that movie. We'll talk to its stars and its real life inspiration and more on this edition of Extra Butter. Hey, what's going on? It's the world famous Steph Sanders. It's Kelly Savannah Deaton. Hey, you want some?
Is that water? What is that?
That's hand sanitizer.
Oh, yes.
There you go. Exactly. Be careful in this day and age when you're going to the movies or when you're going anywhere. Welcome to the show where we talk about movies pretty much the way you talk about movies. It is Extra Butter. All right, welcome to the table, my good friends, the world traveler, Kelly Savannah Deaton. Speaking of world travelers, antibacterial hand gel if anybody needs a quart of it.
Hey, you know what? You can find me at Kelly Savannah Deaton, and on the website, I'm selling Purell, $89.99 for the travel one.
eBay.
And toilet paper.
So you can hear about those hoarders. All right, sir, world famous comedian Steph Sanders. Where do we find you?
I am Steph Sanders everywhere.
You had a fan club over there. How are you?
Hey, good.
Were you clapping for him or for me or for him?
Everybody.
Everybody.
For me. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank
There
you.
you go. There you go. Steph Sanders. I did not fancy you as being someone who would have a guy with an NRA hat.
Well, you know, look, I'm ex-Army.
All right, there you go. All right. Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so welcome to the show. Today we talk about all the movies. First of all, let's talk about what crushed it at the box office over the weekend. Onward.
Are we surprised, though? Tom
I'm not.
Holland, Chris Pratt,
Right.
Pixar, formula, tried and true, and it's so
Killed it.
heartwarming. And
Killed
so
it.
I love the brotherly love.
Yeah.
Harley! Ah, forget it!
It worked! The can is huge! And the van is huge! And you're... Oh no.
Speaking of the brotherly love, we happen to know Chris Pratt's brother, so we snuck him in. Take a look. What's the best thing about your brother, Chris Pratt?
That he knows Tom Holland. Right? Wait, no.
Onward with Tom Holland. That's pretty awesome.
Way to stay on target. Say some good things about your brother. What do you
For
share?
me to say this, I'll say this movie, Cully. I cannot wait for you to see this movie. Just like Dan, who directed and wrote it, it's like a love letter to his older brother. This movie is going to. I'm telling you. You know how like Radio Flyer makes you cry your eyes out. This movie is designed. I honestly feel like my life is a simulation, and this movie was made to make you cry. So I cannot wait for you to see this movie. It's absolutely a love letter to this guy's older brother.
Brotherly love all the way around.
Yeah. Speaking of brotherly love all the way around, you know him, you love him. He owns one of the most successful improv groups in America. Ladies and gentlemen, at the helm of the comedy spot, it's Brian Crawl.
Man, the Mr. Legend, Brian. What's up, Brian?
How's everybody doing?
So, Brian, tell everybody, where did you see Onward?
I don't want to brag or anything, Mark, but I got to see Onward at Pixar Studios.
You just bragged! How can you say you don't want to brag and then you lay a
Like
brag?
name dropping. Your name dropping. What are you doing?
It was the coolest thing, Mark. I had so much fun. There was a kid skipping to the movie theater, and I was right behind him skipping to the movie theater.
You know my favorite thing about seeing a movie at Pixar, if you know somebody on the inside, which evidently you do,
Clearly.
is when you get that drive-on name tag, and you have a name tag that says Pixar.
Nice.
I got a little wristband too. I felt very special, Mark.
Well, you are very special. Let's talk about the film. Did you find it special?
Okay. I know what you're thinking. You've seen the previews, and you see all the characters, and you're telling yourself like, what is this thing all about? And you may not want to see the movie based on that, but it is an excellent movie.
Okay, Brian, so we know through the trailer and the movie, there's a very somber death of a loved one. How do you think they handled that concept?
Man, if you have ever lost anybody that's been really close to you, I guarantee you are going to cry in this film. I was not crying, it was more of a sob, and I think at one point I made this noise, and I I was hoping that nobody heard me.
Don't blame it on the allergies. Blame it on the allergies.
Exactly.
He's probably blaming it on the kid that was
Sorry.
Skippy.
So, Brian, someday, mark my words, we're going to be talking about a Brian Crawl animated feature. I guarantee it. I'm putting that out in the universe right now.
Yes.
Mark, I'm working hard. Here, I'll show you something.
Okay. Look at that storyboard.
This is my next screenplay. I just finished one. This is number 2.
Nice.
That is awesome.
With Steph Sanders does great voice work. I did a great voice work.
Exactly, by 8x10s in the mail.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Brian Crawl, world famous comedy spot. Where do we find you online?
Oh, you can find me at satcomedyspot.com. That's where the website for the comedy spot is. But if you want to follow my zany adventures, you can follow me on YouTube. It's YouTube/Brian Crawl.
Hey, we'll like and subscribe if you like and subscribe.
I will.
Okay. Brian Crawl, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for your Brian Crawl.
Thank you.
World famous comedy spot.
That was very non-committal. We'll follow you if you follow
Follow
us.
us.
I will.
I didn't really get the full commitment. You're
No,
right.
no, but people at home, follow us
like,
on YouTube.
subscribe.
Yeah,
Love.
like and subscribe. And it doesn't just have to be about big fancy movies in theaters, because right now Disney Plus has something new coming down the pipe. How excited are you guys about Stargirl?
I've followed her career, Grace VanderWaal, forever since she was on singing competitions.
Yeah?
This girl is so talented.
Yes.
I cannot believe that she waited so long to be in a film, and this one epitomizes what it's like to be true to yourself, and I think it's the perfect role for her.
I caught up with him on that Disney Plus blue carpet to talk about one of the very first originals by this new medium. Take a look.
Tell the world about Stargirl.
Do you want to take this?
Sure. Stargirl is based off the book by Jerry Spinelli. It's about, two kids, us, both trying to fit into a high school, but coming from different ways. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, my character. Thank you. My character Leo tries to fit in and kind of sacrifices a lot of himself to do that, and Stargirl does the exact opposite. Not sacrificing yourself at all. I know so many people that love your music. Do we get a lot of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of music in the film.
Faces turning red and eyes are going puffy. You ask you out.
Oh man, at your recommendation, I was just checking out some Grace. She sings beautifully.
I know.
And her songwriting skills are phenomenal.
And the ukulele, how do you do all this stuff? And she's acting now, I'm telling you, she's knocking it out the park.
You know what else is cute and everyone can relate to?
Bloodshot?
The Hunt. You know me though, that's kind of where I was going. Coming up in a moment, it is the most controversial movie in the history of the industry, despite the fact most people haven't seen it.
Zero.
What you should know about The Hunt with its cast and crew, next.
Crazy.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us on Extra Butter. I think all ears are going to be leaning in because we're discussing a movie that I have been wanting to talk about for a long time. I love it when things get interesting, and right now we're talking about the most controversial movie in my lifetime.
Really?
Yeah.
It's called The Hunt. I think the only thing that maybe even got close to this was The Last Temptation of Christ, but that's been like 30 years ago. This movie definitely has people talking. What do you hear?
This is the white folks purge.
Did you see that article? Every year, these liberal elites kidnap a bunch of normal folks like us and hunt us for sport.
What kind of sick people would even think of something like that?
White people. We're the worst.
That's what they're calling it?
That's
the one thing I haven't heard about.
That's what they're calling it.
However,
Well,
it applies.
that was the best description I've heard. I mean, thanks.
All right.
That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know.
So take a look at the trailer. Let me get you started by saying it's a dark comedy, and by that I mean it is very, very dark. Bloody, yes.
Violence?
Violent, yes.
Yes.
Now, the
Gritty?
type of violence, I hate to say comedic violence, but if you think about the movie Ready or Not, that's pretty much where this movie hits.
That's a good-
in terms
that's a
of
good
violence.
analogy.
Yes, I was thinking that too.
All right, now back to the political message in it. I guarantee you I'm not lying, because I know people on both sides of the fence. I would recommend this movie to either of them. You'll intersect in the middle. It's an equal opportunity offender. I sat down with the lovely and talented Ike Barinholtz, who, by the way, he's one of those guys just hanging out with him. Kind of like you. He just makes me laugh. I just like hanging out with
Just
him.
his delivery. Yeah, like you, just the delivery is perfection
I love
every
him.
time.
And then the master of horror and suspense, Jason Blum of Blumhouse Productions. Take a look. I never come into a film. I know how hard it is, what a miracle it is to get a movie made. So I never come in with complaints. But next time, could there be more blood?
We'll work on that. I'll work on that for you. We'll work on that for you.
With that said, are you finding yourself like days after you've wrapped, finding like blood in places that you didn't know you had?
I had to like fly home 2 days later, and I'm at TSA, and the guy's looking at me, and I'm like, he goes, "You okay?" And I had like a whole like caked red blood still behind my head. I was like, "Oh yeah, I was doing a Blumhouse movie." He goes, "Oh, they shoot a lot of those down here."
Yeah, it's always a safe topic. Anytime you're talking to someone about a horror movie, especially if you don't want a plot spoil, just talk about the blood, because you know at the end of the day, they ended up with some blood on them somewhere. Moving forward, I sat down with Damon Lindelof, who's one of the writers of the film, has a little part in it, but mostly the writer on the film. And then Betty, how great was she in this?
Oh, okay. We knew she had an awesome physicality because of Glow, right?
Right.
She kills it, but she got stacked for this movie. I'm scared of her. You should be scared of her, and all the other people that she's against, Hilary Swank, should be scared of her.
I loved it. I was rooting for her.
Right? Yeah. Oh, and her and Hillary.
Yes,
Oh man,
yes,
not so.
yes.
It's in the trailer, so I'm not plot spoiling. But man, that was an epic fight.
Star power.
Yeah, the template for this role, not since Uma Thurman in Kill Bill have I enjoyed a woman
I
in
love
a role
it.
like this.
Great analogies
Yeah,
today.
you are killing it today.
references.
Who's this guy?
Damn.
Yeah, I
You
switched up my
always
Diet
kill
Coke
it.
for
Are
Coke
you
Zero.
getting, signs like Houston Astros or something? You just are killing it today.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm just gonna shut up and watch the interview.
I'm wondering, were you the type that like you'd go to see the film and you were worried about your mark or looking at the lighting, and in this, your character needs to be under duress the whole time, so you're not worried about any of that stuff?
I was really excited to be able to play high stakes. You know, in theater school, you play kings and queens and warriors, and you do Shakespeare, and everything is really high stakes. And then I think my first audition out of school was for Gossip Girl, where they wanted vocal fry whisper and squishy questions. And
As a fan of Gossip Girl, I'm personally offended. The stakes couldn't be higher. They couldn't be higher.
Do not besmirch his favorite show.
Come on. Watch it.
Oh, she is so good in this movie. Can't wait for you to see this. Defy all the people saying don't go see it because it's going to offend you. If you don't mind dark comedies, you're going to love this movie no matter what your political affiliation. At the end of it, it's oddly unifying because you'll walk out going, we're all kind of knuckleheads, maybe we should talk things out. So after you see this movie, you'll probably want to cleanse yourself more than just antibacterial hand gel. It's going to leave you feeling a little off. Maybe you need a cleansing in the form of I Still Believe. One of the best faith-based movies I've seen in a long time. Coming up, the stars next. Everybody say hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
And we got a very special guest joining us for this extra butter. Thank you for joining us as well. Be sure and follow up by liking and subscribing everything on YouTube.
Yes,
Hi.
please do.
If you're just joining us, my good friends, the world famous Steph Sanders, comedian at large, the world famous Kelly Savannah Deaton, I'm Marcus Allen. All right, you guys, this movie, it's a faith-based movie. It's called I Still Believe. It's based on the true story of Jeremy Camp. He's one of the most successful Christian musicians of this century. 31 consecutive #1 hits.
Whoa.
Crazy.
31?
Consecutive.
As you look at the guy, do you think that he's the kind of guy that would be played by...
KJ Apa
Yes.
from Riverdale?
Yes.
Production
I
value.
thought it was a good cast. I thought it was a good casting choice, just like Shania Twain is his mom in the film.
The whole interview, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to bring that up. Man, I brought it up.
Oh,
Take a
no.
look.
Let's go straight to it. You're a good-looking man, but at the same time, as you look on the big screen and you're going, well, I got an upgrade.
No, I totally do. I'm very thankful. Everyone's like, wow, KJ Appa's playing you. I'm like, thank goodness. You know what I mean? That they picked him to play me. So he was incredible. Like, he's become a friend, and he's got a pure sweetheart, and I'm very thankful that he played me.
I'm so thankful this movie got made. It makes the world a better place.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
And speaking of KJ Apa, do you find him attractive? He's a good-looking guy, right?
He's okay, from Riverdale.
Yeah, he's the guy that plays
Okay.
Archie in Riverdale, and then beside him, the romantic interest in this is...
Britt Robertson. You'd know her from Tomorrowland.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's in so
Yeah.
many movies
Yeah.
that she plays the romantic lead.
Yeah.
But she's so beautiful and so sweet, and she literally encompasses everything about this guy's true life girlfriend.
Yeah,
And wife.
And I guess we should back up and say that the movie, wouldn't you say the movie's more about the wife and her journey
Yes.
than it is about Jeremy?
And the journey had a purpose.
And her journey had a purpose. We sat down to talk about that and the whole behind the movie. Take a look.
There's so many moments that I want to get into that there's no way we can get into it on this, so I'm going to let you kind of steer it.
Oh.
20 movies from now, what's the one day on the set or the one take where you, when they said, cut, moving on, you thought, I really felt like I was channeling the good stuff there?
I mean, I think
a lot of the scenes in this movie, I felt like that. I'm not gonna lie.
I felt that. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty much. No, I'm kidding. No, there were there was one moment. You know this. When he has to like sing to me as I'm not doing very well, and he's just gone through not sleeping, and he's exhausted, and I asked for him to sing to me, and I remember the take that we did after coming back from lunch, and it was just like the coolest thing I've ever witnessed. So that, to me, 20 years or movies from now, I'll be like, whoa, that was still the coolest thing I've ever witnessed, just as a bystander.
And that scene is so raw. I mean, because there's no score. It's pretty much practical sound
It's just
being
his
captured
little
in the room.
voice quaking.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
so beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
I was terrified also.
It's so good, that scene. It's so good.
Is it terrifying knowing that you're kind of carrying the moment there?
It's just terrifying because there's so much going on for me. There was, in that particular scene, I'm already kind of not as confident with my voice. So having the guitar and singing was one thing, and then to focus on where I was with you was difficult. And then having John right behind, breathing behind the camera.
I know.
His bright blue shirt.
Yeah. It's just as cool.
A little distracting.
It's so good. Yeah, but you made it happen.
Yeah.
I almost started bawling when I walked in the room and saw her, because her performance, and frankly the performance that they were talking about with him playing, is so emotional. You're gonna love this movie.
Man.
Whether you steer towards or away from faith-based movies, this is still a beautiful love story full of what?
Romance?
And hope.
Yeah, and faith.
And faith.
Purpose.
It
Good
has
stuff.
a lot of universal themes.
It
for
does.
Sure.
That's great. That's a good way.
Exactly. Go see I Still Believe. Coming up next, the polar opposite kind of movie. It is Vin Diesel doing what Vin Diesel does best, playing Vin Diesel.
That's right.
The movie is based on the best-selling dark comic Bloodshot. However, it is also kind of fast and furious. We'll talk with Vin next.
Same character.
Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter hanging out talking about movies. Our final new offering for this week is Vin Diesel's Bloodshot.
Yeah.
He's
one of my
going real
favorites.
out of his comfort zone with this one, right?
Exactly.
He's taking it a little further than he usually
Yeah.
does.
Well, let's just say I can't imagine anybody but Vin Diesel playing this
That's
role. It's
true.
so Vin Diesel-y.
He took an extra acting class for this one. I
Yeah,
heard.
that's true.
And like Fast and Furious, he has a counterpart that's attractive and equally strong,
Yeah.
Indeed.
in the form of Eiza Gonzalez.
Yeah, she
yes.
is amazing. And you
Yes.
know what the best part about this movie is? She created this comic book character, because it's not in the comics. And now it's going to be in the comics.
Yeah, she got to shape it.
Yeah, she got to shape it. Isn't that awesome?
I like
think
that
more
she shaped it.
That's
I'm glad
and
she's in
indeed
it.
she
She
did.
sure did. I'm
Yes.
glad she's in it.
That's a
Yes.
really good point.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known it when I sat down with her. We talked about other stuff.
Talk about the training for that, because like people who don't know don't realize that we see you run for 15 seconds. That means you probably ran all day long.
Yes, correct. That's so funny. It's true. It was intense. It was a lot of prior work to it, too, because obviously you have to look apart. You have to look realistic. And I honestly did not look like I could take someone down. And so it was a lot of like prepping for that and learning from the stuntees. And then really came down to the day of like the underdive water situation, doing jiu-jitsu underwater. That was really tricky, and being weighted underwater. I had never done that before, and I'd never done scuba diving like to that extent, like the real deal. And it was scary because you are on the bottom of a pool with a weighted vest, and you kind of have to work through the anxiety, but also look sad and open my eyes underwater. It was really tricky, and I did do it all day long. And it was like it was a really hard day. It unraveled to harder things throughout the day because I also had to like stay up that night for an audition, and I had been underwater for 16 hours. I couldn't see. So it was like the whole day was wild. But it was, I mean, watching the movie, I'm just so proud of it.
And now we segue over to talking about Vin Diesel.
Yes.
Okay, why do you say it like that? You have some stories
Is
about
he
him or
Vin
what?
Is he Vin Diva?
No, I don't know about that. Well, funny you should say that. Death before boredom. I always love it when something interesting happens, and something interesting happened. On the day of the interview, he was about 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours late.
Okay, listen.
Whoa.
I'm never late, but I feel as if you gotta give him some. Okay, I was like 4 minutes late.
He is a star. The only other person that's kept like journalists at large waiting for like 3.5 hours plus.
You.
No, J-Lo. So
Really?
kind of a diva thing to do,
Yeah.
I
Really?
guess.
That is very interesting.
I would wait on J-Lo.
Oh yeah, I would wait
3.5,
all
4
day.
hours.
I would wait all
I
day.
don't know
What
about
else
Vin
is
Diesel.
what else is like? What goes on with your Vin Diesel interviews? What's
Well,
like a formula that
let's
he
watch it
uses?
together
Okay.
and think about that.
Okay.
We
All right.
talked about everything.
All
Take
right.
a look.
as I'm watching it, I'm thinking about like a guy like you that has done it all multiple times. What do you still find joy in? Like, what's the moment on the set where you go, yeah, this is why I do it?
This is well. First of all, this is a completely different approach to the superhero genre, right down to the storyline. What could you even call it a superhero movie if you really were debating it? He's not a guy trying to save the world. He's not doing anything altruistic. He's a victim of a system.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a reason why it was a New York Times bestseller. And that complexity, Guy Pearce, 2 months into the film, says, thank God I did Memento. Because the mind puzzle aspect of the script,
sure,
I was prepared because I did Memento. I needed to do Memento to do this. It was different in that respect. All the other stories, they're MacGuffins in the movies that I like, in any movie in Hollywood, but not to this degree. Not in a kind of play with the perception of reality way that's played with in Bloodshot. Is it timely? Is that kind of manipulative vibe that we all have ominous in some way? Is it reflective of today? Are you walking out of the theater going, what really is real?
And he was nice enough to do a TikTok with me after all. I don't think he remembered that.
Even open.
I don't think he remembered
Were his
it.
eyes bloodshot to get into character
Yes.
for this movie, Bloodshot, or
Maybe so. All right, the world famous Steph Sanders, where do we see you soon?
I am in Cobb's Comedy Club all weekend this weekend.
San Francisco's Cobb's Comedy
Yes.
Club. Kelly Savannah Deaton, any fun trips coming up?
There's supposed to be a wedding this year, but with the coronavirus, I don't know. Bali might be happening. We'll let you know. Mark's gonna marry us.
I am
maybe.
going.
Yeah, you're coming.
Steph and I chipped in and got you this for your wedding.
Oh,
There's more
thank you.
antibacterial gel.
It's empty.
Hey, we kid, we joke, but stay safe, everyone, in and out of the movies. Enjoy your time. Be sure and like and subscribe us. It's always safe to just stay home and watch us on YouTube. But like and subscribe.
And turn on notifications.
Turn it on.
Oh.